Today we are talking fall essentials, and this is by far my favorite season to get dressed for. I love all of the layers, the textures, the colors. It's so cozy, and I just love putting together autumn outfits. So today I wanted to go over the season essentials, and for me these are pieces that are very, very classic and they are going to last you for a very long time, and they are things you can wear year after year. So I really think it's worth putting a little bit of thought and care and money into them, because trying to put together a new wardrobe every season with only trendy items is not only very expensive, it's also kind of stressful trying to get dressed with just trendy things. However you prefer your wardrobe, big or small, making sure you have a solid foundation is really going to help you get the most out of your wardrobe and your outfits for the autumn season. I feel like it's a good place to start with jumpers, and I really love a cable knit jumper for autumn. It just nothing sets the mood more than that particular piece. So I have this one that I bought from Arket last year. They always do a kind of variation of this. I really love a cable knit. I think it really elevates the outfit. It creates a lot of interest. So I'm starting out the season with cotton jumpers, so you can get cable knit cotton jumpers. They have the look without too much of the warmth, and then I'm working my way up to wool as the season gets a little bit cooler. And in between those stages I really like cashmere. It's a lot lighter, so hopefully you can see it's fairly thin, so it's a little bit warmer than cotton but not boiling hot. Of course, autumn is all about layering, my favorite thing to do, and my favorite layering piece is the blazer. I think this is absolutely an essential. It is the perfect layering piece for adding a little bit of warmth without overheating, and it really dresses up my more casual outfits. It looks good with my more dressy outfits. I just feel like a blazer makes pretty much all of my outfits just look a little bit better. It's just very, very versatile, and we've seen a lot of the more structured and tailored blazers come back into the trend picture. I always say wear whatever incarnation of the blazer that you feel matches you the best, but if you've been a little bit put off with the very large, loose, unstructured, oversized blazers that have been popular in the recent years, now would be your time to find the more tailored styles back in the stores. I have to say that this is one of my favorite blazers. I bought this from And Other Stories last year for later autumn and moving into winter and even early spring. This is a go-to, and I just saw they actually make this in a black, so I have already ordered this one in a black. And another fairly thin one, this black one from Arket. It just is perfect. It's a little bit lighter, goes with everything. It's a staple that just always stays in my wardrobe, but it's especially great for autumn. The next item is a pair of dark wash denim. I just did a denim try on haul where I nearly went crazy trying to get through everything, but I did end up finding a few really great pairs of denim. Obviously a light wash is going to be a classic as well. I just feel like the dark wash can't be beat for autumn. I would go for something very classic, not too high rise, not too low rise, not too kind of loose, not too skinny, just something that will go with most of your outfits. I feel like I am very partial to the straight leg, but I am also a millennial, so I do like the skinny jeans because you can tuck them into your knee-high boots. There is just something so incredibly autumnal about that look. I don't think it's ever going to leave me, but if I only were to choose one pair, I would go for something just very classic. I would also consider a pair of tailored trousers to be an essential for my autumn wardrobe. They are just really, really versatile. They're a lot more dressy than a pair of jeans, and they can be dressed up or down. So I have a black pair here and a grey. I like to have a couple of different color options, and I have some in cotton, some in wool, so when it's getting a little bit chillier in the morning, they are fantastic for providing a little bit of extra warmth. And I keep these throughout winter. I even, because they're so wide, I put on thermal underwear under them, and I would not be without them. They obviously are great for work, but they also pair very nicely with a more dressy top for dressing them up. Lots of different colors. I have some prints as well. These are recent from Arket and these are from COS, though I think just getting the perfect pair for you in a very neutral color is something that can be worn with like nearly all the tops. The next two items are kind of similar but not. They're both striped. So the first one is a striped shirt. Obviously a regular white shirt is like an essential in every single wardrobe throughout the year, but I really love this more relaxed take on it with these stripes. It's adding a little bit of print and it just goes so beautifully with all the other items that fit into the season as well. It's really making the outfits a little bit more relaxed and I really love that. Staying with the stripes, and I will go quickly on this one because I am sure everyone is sick of seeing this striped knit top from Arket. I bought this I think a year or 2 years ago. They still do it. It's such a classic and I can see why, but I think any kind of striped long sleeve top is a perfect piece to bridge that gap between t-shirt weather and knit jumper weather. I think it's a great piece and to me it feels very autumnal. Another absolute classic is the leather jacket. I've seen leather blazers a lot in the last few years as well become quite popular. Whichever version you choose is definitely going to be a classic staple that will stay in your wardrobe for years and years. I really love my more oversized one, partly because it's very easy to fit it over thicker jumpers, so I just find that I get a lot of wear out of it. It's also a fairly practical choice for cooler days, and especially where I live it tends to rain a lot during fall. If you want something that is a little bit softer, I think a brown would be great, a tan, light beige even. You can also go for suede, which doesn't have the same kind of like hard sheen, but I would recommend that if it doesn't rain a lot where you live. I've talked about this particular jacket a lot. I bought it from Zara I think 4 or 5 years ago. It's held up great, so obviously I haven't bought a new one, but I've seen these again everywhere. This is in real leather, so if you're not like morally opposed to that, I would highly recommend it because it just lasts and lasts and lasts. I think it's something that is worth investing in. As long as you get something that is true to your style, you should be sure that you like the shape of it. The next item is something that I live for this season, and that is a knit dress. A long sleeve knit dress is going to be a lot more practical for autumn, so I have some longer options and these are typically in like cotton, something that is a little bit lighter. There's just something about a knit dress. It has that magical cozy factor to it while still being a little bit dressed up. So you can see I go for like neutral colors, brown for autumn. When it comes to dresses, if they're in a very strong color, I just mentally feel like they're a bit more memorable, so I feel a bit more conscious about re-wearing them like every single day of the week. But when they're neutrals, I feel like it's a lot easier to get away with. It is so warm. I bought this from And Other Stories. I'd like to have some more fitted options and some sort of looser options, mainly because when I'm wearing sort of these fitted ones, it's very easy to throw on a knit jumper over if I want a little bit of extra warmth. Staying with cozy, the next item is a long cardigan, also sometimes called a cardi coat, because what is more cozy than putting on like a really oversized cardigan? I feel like it's the fashion equivalent of a cup of hot chocolate. Obviously, if you're not into the kind of like more dramatic silhouette of a very long cardigan, I think the shorter ones have the same effect, and I do wear them as well. And then I have a lighter option. I've shown these so many times, they are really old, but you get a ton of different versions, but this one is in cotton and it's just a little bit lighter for when I don't need something quite as chunky as this, but they're staples. I wear them so much. Next, let's talk about boots. I mean, it's autumn, you need a pair of boots. I go for classic colors that are going to work with all of my outfits and a couple of different varieties of heel heights as well. The tall one is just fantastic for dresses and skirts, both sort of maxi midi lengths as well as mini, so it works with everything, I think. But it obviously looks really good over skinny jeans as well. I have seen some people kind of wear these underneath their wide leg trousers. I'm gonna have to try that. I don't know how it's going to look. In my head, it's going to look really weird. Let me know if you've tried that, if it does actually work. But the ankle boot version is also used a lot in my wardrobe for fall. It works really well with jeans, I think, and wide leg trousers, and also maxi skirts and dresses. So I feel like I need both options. I just do. I'm gonna stay with shoes and also say that a pair of loafers is an essential in my book when it comes to autumn. Sneakers obviously are a lot more casual than a pair of loafers. For the times where a boot feels a little bit too heavy, too much, a loafer is the perfect alternative. So I have something that is a little bit chunky obviously, but these are just very classic. I have considered getting a pair that are like dark brown for the autumn season, just because I wear these so much. I know or feel like I can justify it. Anyways, a pair of loafers. They are dressy, they're easy and comfortable to wear, versatile. I definitely think it's an essential. The final piece, a trench coat. And yes, it's very obvious and it's on like every single autumn to buy list ever, but for good reason. It's the perfect weight for fall, and I feel like it just makes all of the outfits a little bit more chic. And I personally favor the more oversized style. That is, it feels more current, it's the most popular at the moment. It feels a lot more casual and not so structured and stiff, and also it's just a lot easier to layer over chunkier knitwear underneath, and it just layers over everything because there is so much room. This one is from And Other Stories. I bought it I think a year ago, last autumn. They have lots of different styles. If you find that this is a little bit too dramatic, I would still really recommend checking out their trench coat sections. And if you find the traditional trench coat a little bit boring, can I suggest you look for something a little bit wilder, something that is a little bit more out of the normal. I think it's a fantastic way to experiment with your style and have fun with it. All of these essentials are fantastic for autumn, and I find they really help me get the most out of the rest of my wardrobe for the season. But if you're finding that it's still a little bit too warm for traditional fall clothing where you live, do check out my recent video on how to dress for transitional weather without falling victim to changing temperatures.